Hey, this is Matt once again. What about 10 videos? Another paid request, this time from Toby. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Dog Day Afternoon, a film directed by Sidney Lumet, who worked on, I believe, the original 12 Angry Men, among many other films. And you have a very young Al Pacino, giving a pretty damn good performance in this. And it's based on a true story. Brooklyn, 1972. Uh, these guys went in to rob a bank. You found out one of the reasons. The main reason is because Al Pacino's character, bi. He's a bi person. He had an ex-wife with kids, but he also married this other guy, played by Chris Sarandon, who were going to be in the original Fright Night and Child's Play. And he wanted to get money so his love could have a sex change operation. And because of those details that kind of got into the public eye and newspaper articles at the time, and probably one of the reasons why this got picked up to become a movie. Now, at the time, the real guy was serving a 20-year sentence. But maybe because of the help of this movie, I don't know. Because by this point, it was 1972, he would have served 3 years already. He got out in 5 years. Now, I think he went to jail briefly, one or two more times. I think a parole violation, and then I think sadly he passed away. I think he was on welfare, but again, out of that 20 years, he only served 5 years. Like I said, by this point, it was 1975. This movie came out, so he had served 3. And then, for what I understand, I think that the one who wanted the operation, because they helped sell the story, they were able to get the money for the operation. So in a weird way, the story based on the robbery helped pay for the operation. But I don't think those two got back together. I don't believe so. Kind of this weird bit of tragedy to that. Now, I had seen bits and pieces of this movie, and of course, had heard much about Dog Day Afternoon. This is my first time seeing it all the way through, and I liked it. It's a good movie. Al Pacino, he's nervous, but he's very well mannered, but he's also at the urge of a mental breakdown because 3 guys go into the bank robbery. One of them gets scared and wants to leave. Fine. But give me the car keys. What? How am I going to get home? I don't care. Take the subway. Just, I need the car keys. And then the guy runs, sees something, runs back, and Al Pacino says, "What? What do you want now?" There's a girl hiding in the desk. Okay, fine. Now get out of here. But he's also very well mannered. He allows the people to go to the bathroom. And that's one of the mistakes he makes, because it wastes time for people to find out more what's going on, and then cops surround the place. And see a guy that you call it Stockholm syndrome for the viewer as well. But I grew to like and really feel sorry for this guy. Where he's in over his head, but he's trying to keep sane. It's just this whole nervous energy around him. This other guy, Sal, who's ready to do what Pacino wants him to do, but he's a very quiet guy. And you do tell a bit of he's nervous as well. He'll be willing to kill if he needs to. You get the idea Pacino is not, but this guy is. But at the same time, he's not a one-note, I don't kill everybody, I'm psycho. He's still, I'll do it if you need to be to, man. I'm not going back to jail. Remember, if we get caught, we have a suicide pact. But you tell that Pacino doesn't really believe in all that either. He said, no, we'll get through this. And Sidney Lumet did an interesting way of showcasing this, where it is kind of like a documentary style, meaning the opening has a song, but the rest of the movie has no musical score at all. There's no flashbacks, which is fine, because that way it doesn't take us out of the movie, doesn't take us out of what's going on here. For the most part, we're centered on this situation of this robbery taking place. You tell that Pacino's character isn't an expert. I mean, when he pulls out the gun, it gets caught on this ribbon thing, and he's got to shake it off. He'll say lines like, listen, I'm a Catholic and I don't want to hurt anyone. And then when he gets in there, realizes that most of the money's already been taken. There's barely any money here, so they did all this, and there's barely any fucking money there. And it looks like they could get away, but people want to use the bathroom, so he's letting them, but he's wasting time. He even does this thing where he's burning the ledger, and even the others are confused. Like Sal, his partner in crime, going, why are you doing that? I'm sure there's an explanation, but I'm still confused as to why he did it. If he had not burned the ledger, and if he just locked them in and said, don't go to the bathroom in the corner and leave, they probably would have gotten out of there, but again, they're not experts. It's also showcasing hostility that people had towards the cops. Just like there's this security guard who has asthma, and Pacino lets him get out because he doesn't want him to die. But the cops immediately think he's a criminal. And even the one of the bank tellers, she's yelling, what the hell are you doing, cops? He's one of us. Now, of course, you can also say it's because the security guard was black. So, of course, they assume. And she's getting more and more pissed. And the crowd's getting pissed. And Charles Durning, actor who's been in a lot of stuff. He was in... What was the movie? When a Stranger Calls, the original. He's the main cop in the movie. He's also in the sequel. He's done a lot of stuff. You know, good actor, Charles Durning. He's a guy that's just trying to keep things at peace as much as possible. And he'll let Pacino come out while Sal's in there, and Sal will do something if Pacino gets hurt. At Pacino, the crowd are loving him more and more, and he's yelling, Attica, Attica, Attica. Now, some may wonder what the hell does that mean? Well, just before that time, in 1971, there was a prison riot. Call it in Attica. Attica prison riot. You can look it up. It's a piece of history where the prisoners, they felt that they were being mistreated very, very poorly, inhumanely, and the point they were fed up, didn't want to do anymore, and then they had a riot. And then, if you understand, most of the people that died, both crooks and cops, were from the cops. Not the prisoners killing each other, or the prisoners killing the cops. It was the cops firing and either accidentally killing some of their own or killing the prisoners. And became such a piece of news that it made the public even more against the government, the police, the institution. And that's why a lot of movies in the 70s was very much against the institution. Even if you have a film like Dirty Harry where he's playing a cop, but he's a cop that's not acting like the typical cop. He's acting like, you know, 3 shades away from Death Wish from Charles Bronson. And even Clint Eastwood's Dirty Harry is against, he hates the institution of the laws and how you can do this and can't do that, and what about the rights of the victim and all this. So even though he's a cop, he's almost, he wouldn't be, but 5 more steps, he'd be the crowd rooting for Al Pacino's character here. And there's some really good lines of dialogue, like when Pacino's talking with Charles Durning, and Charles Durning's trying to explain something, and Pacino starts doing this. What are you doing? Want to be kissed. What? When I'm being fucked, I like to be kissed. Which I don't know if this is the first movie that had that line. I've seen many other people say that line later on, but I don't know if this is the first one that did that. Or some cops are trying to get in the back and people are freaking out and he's yelling at, oh, you don't know, huh? You full of shit, okay? Tell me you don't know, you full of shit. And you see that, even some of the people in the bank, they're kind of getting into it because they're getting famous and they're on TV and there's like a different experience, and the bank manager has issues, so they bring a doctor in. And Pacino tells him you can go. The bank manager's no. I just because he doesn't want to leave his workers. And like, God damn it, why do you have to come in here today? He's telling that to Pacino. Sorry about that. They get pizzas in. Hey, you get a day off work? You don't be on the news? Maybe sell stories, make a couple bucks, and you get free pizzas? I want to be robbed. I want to be a hostage for Al Pacino. Yo, Mr. Pacino, you can take me hostage. Get free pizzas, a day off work, and get free pizza. And I did sell some very I'm very hungry, so I'm thinking pizza too much. And all that shit. Uh, maybe some bucks on it. Wow, okay. Like I said, it does a good job showcasing that time period of how people felt about the establishment. The fact that it didn't try to put in so many multiple subplots and flashbacks that broke the flow of the movie. And I just really felt for Al Pacino's character. And Al Pacino, man, he and Justice for All and this movie and then Scarface, years later. I'm not a big Godfather guy, but it's not because of the acting. I just if I'm watching that, I'd rather watch Goodfellas or Casino. Just preference, personal preference. But Al Pacino, man, just fantastic actor. Serpico. I mean, and Justice for All is probably my favorite '70s Al Pacino film. But I like Serpico. I'll probably say I like this a bit more. Just as the character. I like both, but I just really fell for. Well, I fell for both characters too, but this one is like. It's easier to feel for Serpico because he's a cop. Here, he's a criminal, but yet I'm still feeling sorry for him, which is a bit of a tougher thing to do. And I liked his conversation with Chris Sarandon, where it's kind of funny, but also it's kind of tragic because the Chris Sarandon's character was in a hospital, and you tell that their mental faculties are not all there. But yeah, Al Pacino's still in love with his husband. Definitely very different from the time, because you have a character who is bi. He's a bisexual character, and some people are like making fun of him because of that. But at the same time, they're not treating him. The movie's not treating him like a stereotype. And like I said, the bit with his mom, where his mom's like, "Oh, I love you. Your dad, he said he has no son, but don't listen to him." And she's like, "I love you. I want to help you. Please stop this." And the way Pacino says, "Ma, you can't be here. You come near me." The way he said, "If you come near me, you don't get fucked over or you don't get fucked out. You gotta leave. You gotta go." Pretty much saying, if you're around me, look what's happening. Things aren't gonna work out the best. I'm a fuck up. I'm a screw up. It's too late for me. Go live your life. And like when him relating his will for the one of the hostages to write down in case something happens, you just feel the emotion pouring out of the guy. And then I did not know, I didn't realize Lance Henriksen is in this movie. And plays a decently important part in the third act of the movie. I wish he was in the film more because I'm a big Lance Henriksen fan. Of course, Bishop from Aliens and Near Dark and Pumpkinhead and but yeah, he's in this movie and he becomes the driver to drive these people to the airport. And spoiler alert, very big spoilers. Lance Henriksen and Al Pacino are, and then they're kind of side by side in the car, and then the cops are able to trick the guy Sal to get his gun up. So Lance Henriksen pulls the gun, shoots Sal in the head, puts the gun to Al Pacino, and Al Pacino gives up. And then Lance Henriksen is pulling Pacino, and I'm like, oh shit, it's Lance Henriksen. That was really cool to see that because I'm a big Lance Henriksen fan. I did not know he worked with Al Pacino. I don't know if anyone's ever asked him about it. I would assume there has to be. I just when he's interviewed nowadays, it's more about, of course, aliens and stuff. But I would love to ask him, like, as brief as it was, how was it on that set? I wasn't working with Al Pacino. Now, Lance Henriksen was not the. I mean, he had a bit part in Ghost Encounters of the Third Kind and other bit parts in movies. He was not the guy, he wasn't the star me and others think of him nowadays. All the TV, Millennium and Aliens and Pumpkin and all this other stuff. So, Hard Target, of course, the main villain in that. Stone Cold or Brian Bosworth, the main villain in that. And pretty much Al Pacino gets arrested and he sees his buddy go off and, you know, taken to the morgue and no music still, even the credits, no music. So it feels a bit more down to earth and much less melodramatic because of that. And yeah, Dog Day Afternoon, I rather liked. I didn't have a whole lot of issues or problems with it. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. So yeah, I liked it. So with that said, if you like Al Pacino, you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a watch. We'll see you guys later. Take care.